Hey there folks, Pliskin by 51mm, and today I'm doing something a little different. This is more on my music collection end of things, because I have a very massive metal collection now, and I may do a video of the whole thing one of these days, but quickly I figured I would do a video on my newest edition. My sister's boyfriend bought me this vinyl. It is for the Slipknot album Iowa, and it is the limited edition translucent green vinyl, and I gotta say it looks beautiful. The cover art, let's see if my focus messed up, there we go, and it is in the silver art here. I'm not going to try and move it around too much. I'll show you the back. I don't have a vinyl player yet, so eventually I will get the vinyl player to play this on. But that is the back, and it's got their mascot Eeyore, which is Slipknot's mascot. It's the goat, and they named it Eeyore. And there's actually a goat that they did have, and it's the one that's on the front, because I also have this album on CD as well. But that's an actual living goat, and they named him Eeyore. But yes, this is one of the best heavy metal albums ever made. Very revolutionary for its time. In 2001, which is when this album came out, there had never been anything quite this heavy on the mainstream. I do believe I remember them playing. I remember hearing My Plague in one of the Resident Evil movies back when I was a little kid, and that's one of the songs that's on this album. But this is a great addition to the collection. And I'll show the CD. Some of my favorite songs off of the CD are My Plague. Disaster Piece is really good too. The Heretic Anthem. Gently is really good. Gently will rattle your teeth. Left Behind is also very good. That was one of the first songs off of this album. When I started actually listening to this album, Left Behind was one of the first ones I ever listened to. But after a while, I can listen to the whole thing now. It's just an epic album. Beyond proportion. And still to this day, many people say this was Slipknot's magnum opus. I went to go see Slipknot live about 2 years ago, and I still have the footage from that. I just haven't uploaded it because I'm lazy. But man, when they played the Heretic Anthem and People Equal Shit and all that, it was fuck it. They literally know how to rattle the windows. But I figured I'd talk about some of the mascots and stuff as well, because, see, you know, Slipknot uses the goat Eeyore, and, you know, most people who aren't familiar with metal, that, you know, that looks like evil, you know, the evil goat. And metal music as a whole, as you can see here, I have some other metal bands that I listen to. They use these kind of evil images. Like, see here, they have Venom, another great metal band. Now, these guys are actually black metal, but they use the pentagram and a goat's head. I mean, it's literally labeled Welcome to Hell. And, you know, most people would look at that and think, oh, well, this is an evil band. And I will admit, some of these bands do talk about some pretty evil stuff. But it's not because they themselves are evil. It's mostly just, you know, talking about it, kind of like a warning, a foreshadow of the evil that's in the world. Don't mean the bands themselves are evil, they're just talking about it in the context. you know, like, yeah, there's bad stuff out there, and that's pretty much what all these bands do, especially Motorhead. Motorhead goes into good detail about, like, you know, politics and all that. But see, they use their mascot is Snaggletooth. Dio uses Murray. He kind of based him on an Egyptian, one of those Egyptian gods, like the dog Doberman looking dude. Black Sabbath, I mean, they used their album cover for Mob Rules, which also has Dio on it, is the picture called The Crucifiers. And that was made by some gentleman. I can't remember the full story, but basically the guy who made this image said that all the people on the front of this photo, they represent all the evil, warmongering bastards of society, corrupt politicians. You know, that's pretty much what these people here on the front represent. And any shape or form, that's them. Basically what the artist of this cover described, and then Black Sabbath used it. And then you got Metallica, they got this demon guy on there. I forget his name, so forgive me. But Jump in the Fire is good. This is actually the album, Creeping Death, Jump in the Fire. I had to get that. It's not necessarily, I don't think that is considered a mainline Metallica album. I think it's an EP, but nonetheless, I like it. And then Candlemass, they got the horned skull dude that's crucified. Candlemass is also really good, very good doom metal. Same with Pentagram. Pentagram is basically the American version of Black Sabbath. This is a very good album, but they use a pentagram as well with the goat's head. Disturbed uses the guy. I mean, this is the album cover for their album, The Lost Children. Lost Children being the songs that make it to their mainline CDs. These are their lost children. Hear all these songs here. But yeah, the guy, he looks pretty wicked in and of himself. And then, you know, when Black Sabbath was Heaven and Hell, they used this demon here. It's called The Devil You Know. This is the name of the album. And it's also got the numbers for one of the verses from the Bible. They also use Henry, as you can see there. I'm sure you guys have seen Henry because I've used a lot of Black Sabbath stuff as well. But yes, they use this metal imagery, but none of the bands themselves. That's a conflated issue with metal as a whole. People see all this stuff and they're like, oh, you know, the bands are evil, they're all devil worshippers and stuff, which isn't true. Hell, most of the guys in Black Sabbath were Christian. Tony Iommi still believes in God. Ozzy's a Christian. So yeah, they use all this. It's just a marketing scheme. You know, all these. Because that really does stand out. I mean, you go through and you see this album cover and you see that. And you're like, ooh, you know, it's the allure of it. But none of these bands are what would be considered evil. I mean, I'm a Christian. I still listen to them. Hasn't deterred me one bit. I haven't been corrupted or, you know, any of that. So I just like heavy metal music. And if I see a 5-point star on the front of the cover, who cares? You know, it's just a star with a goat's head. It doesn't mean anything beyond that. I mean, unless you're, you know, you want it to be something more beyond that. But at the end of the day, I'm a Christian. I still pray to God. So there's that. Anyway, I figured I'd make this little video here about that, because there are some people who don't know a whole lot about the heavy metal scene. I'm sure there is. I just wanted to talk about some of my music that I've collected. So I figured I'd do it this way. Well, anyway, until the next video, catch y'all on the next one, guys. Peace.